I'm not adopted. That's good. You claim me today. Great.
Hi, I'm Connie with Remax Closers, and I'm keeping it real in real estate.
You got me loose and set me free. You make me win every way.
Wow, nice to meet you. Never met you before.
Mike, how you doing? All right, so today, what are we going to talk about?
Mold.
Yeah, mold is gold.
Call our friends at Home Services for that one.
Greg Reynolds does an outstanding job. You know, I've been coming across that a lot lately. Some older houses, kind of questionable when you get there, and I usually ask, have you been in the crawl space lately? And the answer is typically, no, I haven't been down there in a while.
When's the last crawl space you've been in?
Well, I try not to go into any. My goal when I was a real estate agent was to never go in the crawl space because I never knew what was in there. But now I'm not so much worried. There are some crawl spaces you can actually walk in,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
I'm a little claustrophobic, to be honest, but the ones that are tall, I have no problem with it. But my goal is not to wear the white suit and the hazmat looking look. I like to sell the real estate, but that's why we hire professionals. Greg Reynolds is an excellent go-to. He is with Home Services. He recently came into our office. He's licensed, he's insured, he's very reasonable.
We officially checked his license on DLLR as well.
Absolutely.
Another requirement as a real estate agent is
Absolutely.
licensed in the state of Maryland. We're not going to use that there, so.
But mold is a serious issue. Crawl spaces are the culprit for mold to accumulate. Well, we call it mold, but really the technical term is
Organic growth, spore growth.
And how do we know if it's mold or organic spore
Substance.
growth?
What you have to do is you have to have someone that is licensed in that capacity to actually swab it and send it out to a lab to be identified. And then they in turn do a test for all of the, you can either do an air sample or a swab, and then it comes back, and then they determine what it is. I've been in many properties where it could be leftover, contractor adhesive or things of that nature, and it's not necessarily that. And we are not licensed in that capacity, so we've got to get the experts.
So the air quality test is something that can be performed by an inspector, and basically they bring in some equipment inside the home, and they're also measuring the air on the outside. And then this gets sent to a lab, and it will show you any spores or levels that are off the charts that are compared from the outside in. So in your home, if you have something that has a very unique, distinct smell that you're not sure what it is, it could be mold growing behind the walls or seeping in underneath the foundation. There's ways for mold to grow. It doesn't take a lot of energy for it.
24 hours to 48 is all you need.
Dark space, right?
Yep.
No light, moisture.
And no airflow.
Yep, no airflow. We've seen it where it goes on surfaces. You walk through a house and you can actually see it all over the surfaces, right? But to technically call it mold, it should be tested.
It's required to be tested. If not, it is organic spore growth.
Correct. So the treatment, though, is very important. We have a lot of people that try to correct this themselves, but really you need to bring in the professionals. Mold can be in your attic, it can be in your crawl space, it can be in your basement. But lately, more seasonally, because we've had different seasons, and we've had a lot of rain over the past few years, so if the crawl spaces do not have a good vapor barrier, they're not ventilated properly, it creates that opportunity for these things to occur. So we want you to hire a professional to get it done correctly. It's not good for your health to breathe all that in. So would you say mold is a current topic and concern for people?
And ongoing, yes, for tenants and for sellers. Additionally, when it's remediated, you need to make sure they're a licensed mold remediator, as well as if they're using an EPA-approved antimicrobial solution as well. So there are many local companies that do that. Make sure you always get about 3 bids is what you're going to want to do for any contracting services, and then compare them. And one of the biggest questions we get after a contractor comes out and they encapsulate the crawl space. So after they have removed all of the insulation, they have sprayed the chemicals, wiped everything down, removed the substance. In turn, they will bring in a drain system if it's required, a sump pump, and as well as a dehumidifier. Now the dehumidifier retains that humidity at a constant level, and it actually protects the area of encapsulation. That expense is typically seen as a buyer's expense and not necessarily the seller's, because the seller's remediated or paid to have it corrected, but it's for an ongoing future use is where you're going to want to get that dehumidifier, and I highly recommend to get that.
And there's different levels of dehumidifiers. You know, you can always buy one at Lowe's, but the one that's recommended from the mold contractors is more of a commercial grade. It is a little more expensive, but I think in the long run it's worth it because your health is priceless. And we want everybody to buy a healthy home. We want you to live there a long time, as long as you like, till you're ready to make your next move. So thank you, Mike. I appreciate the insight today. And this is Connie Fitzgerald, keeping it real in real estate.
Cut me loose and set me free.